And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. It's that time again. Yay or nay? Is everybody ready?
Yay.
That was quite a response. Yay.
Nay.
Yay.
Trump?
All right. First up, a club in Russia is training children as young as 5 years old for the military. The club's goal is to encourage Russia's youth to feel a responsibility to their country and adequately prepare them to defend their motherland. Apparently, there are thousands of clubs like this around the country which are funded by the Russian government. Youth training camps. Carl, yay or nay?
Yay. Have you heard of the Spartans?
No, haven't. What are the Spartans?
Spartans, the ancient warriors.
Oh, those Spartans. I thought you were going to talk about
they were raised from birth to do that. So, I mean, it resulted in an amazingly effective fighting force, and I think Russia's on track to try to do that.
Heather, you think that's a good idea?
I think that it may be effective for them. I don't think it's something that would ever or should ever happen here, but I think that it may be effective for them. And
why shouldn't it happen here?
I wish my parents did that for me. Are you kidding me?
Because we don't force people into service at that age anyway, and hopefully, you know, it's something that we're not inclined to do even in the worst of circumstances. They do something similar in Israel. Everybody has to serve their time in the army. And there's something to be said for it in building a good and strong army.
But that's not going in at 5 years old. Well, they aren't going in, to be fair. They're not joining the army. They're just being trained for it.
Yeah, I guess you know, I see a little element of brainwashing by the state, and you can't help but think of the Hitler Youth movement. You know, starting people that young to be trained. What else are what other propaganda in terms of, in addition to, you know, calisthenics? That's I think we have to worry about.
They're taking their people and making them warriors. Like 5-year-old kids here in America. I know. I was running around making bows and arrows and lighting stuff on fire when I was 5 years old. So
well,
I mean,
we don't have military training, but we do have Cub Scouts. We do have Boy Scouts, which instills which instills some of that military feeling. Right?
What's wrapped around it? What's the propaganda that's wrapped around the brainwashing element?
I got no problem with this.
Nay, nay, yay.
Yay.
Why am I not surprised? Louisiana Governor Bobby, I love to read fairy tales, Jindal, is currently polling around 1% nationwide, but he has a plan to help his campaign efforts. Talk about Donald Trump. That's right. In an email to his supporters, the governor wrote that he is going to start randomly inserting Donald Trump's name into conversations so that the media will cover him more. Does Governor Jindal have a good idea here, Heather? Yay or nay?
I don't, you know, I think that it does bring some attention, and if he says some insults, sure, if he actually gets Trump to engage, but I don't know that Trump would actually take him seriously enough to engage with him.
Tom, Marco Rubio over the weekend went the exact opposite way, saying that if he had to talk about Donald Trump, he would never get to talk about his issues.
Well, I think that's the right way to approach it. I mean, you know, this obviously it's a big field, it's a very competitive field, but you have to be for something. Trying to attach yourself to Trump and then getting in a negative, you know, Twitter battle isn't really going to help your campaign in the long run. Jindal's got a good record. I thought he did very well in that debate. I thought he came in tight number 2 to Carly Fiorina. So I think he should, you know, do the best he can.
Is Jindal throwing in the towel when he says the only way I can get anybody to pay any attention to me is to say the name Trump?
Well, Trump is going to be our next president, I predict, and I think he's getting on board with that. He's finally agreeing with Carl Higbee, which is a good thing, and he's trying to jump on the bandwagon.
But shouldn't he be able to talk about his own ideas?
Well, he probably doesn't have any compared. Like, nobody can compete with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the man right now. You know, that's why you laugh. He probably will end up being our next president.
Everybody agree with that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, split on that one. Finally, after discovering that its people are buying bulk quantities of Vegemite in order to make moonshine, the Australian government is sending out a warning. Alcoholism is a major problem among Aboriginal communities in Australia. As a result, alcohol is highly regulated. To get around the law, adults and sometimes children are fermenting the Vegemite in their bathtubs and mixing it with things like orange juice. Guys, first of all, I wonder if anybody knows what Vegemite is. I tried it. It's the worst tasting stuff I've ever tasted in my life.
I had to Google it to find out what it was.
Should Australia be worrying about this?
No.
Heather?
No.
Tom?
Full disclosure, I used to work for the company that used to sell Vegemite.
Oh, is that right? And full disclosure, I used to take cider and ferment it. I didn't Vegemite. So, all right, guys, that's all for tonight. I'm Rick Unger filling in for Joe Concha. On behalf of Carl Higbee, who joined me tonight, and the rest of the panel, thank you. Steve Malzberg's coming up next. You don't want to miss it, so stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow night.